Just like with mind, there is the conditional mind and there's an unconditional mind.
Mm-hmm.
There's the conditional heart and there's the unconditional heart. So the conditional heart is the one that can feel blocked and can hurt and want to protect itself and get the conditional heart is the one that in a way falls in love and falls out of love,
Mm-hmm.
that has been hurt, heartache, that may put up some boundaries and some blocks, and say, I'm not going to go there, you know. So in the beginning, when you start to open to the heart, you're touching on the conditional heart. Just by placing attention on it, it's like the heart says, oh, thank you, finally. You're feeling me, feeling something that has been wanting to be met, right? And felt.
Hello, Susanne.
Hello, Ilona.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Thank you. Likewise.
And thank you
Really.
so much for coming on the show.
Oh, my pleasure. I'm looking forward to where we go.
Well, the show is called Awakening Now. There's no better time. So awakening now. And before we start, I ask everyone, what is your definition of awakening? Because it may mean different things to different people. How do you see that?
Oh, absolutely. And if I don't know if you can hear, but it's really raining here. I don't know if that's coming through now. Okay. What is my definition? Well, I suppose I can enter with the current moment. And what's showing up right now is this rain is hitting my roof, and with you talking. And for me, awakening is being really fully present to reality without any veils, just naked reality, stark reality. And to be one of the veils is the sense of me, the felt sense of me, and the belief in being a separate self. So exploring that and inquiring into whether there really is a me here, and seeing through that, being able to see through that and see what's really living, what is really living this life, is what awakening brings.
Hmm.
And it's a process, it's a journey. And so that can just be a momentary seeing, and then it can become an abiding way to live over time, and abiding in an embodied manner. So for me, awakening is multifaceted. It's not just one type of awakening. There are many different levels of awakening. And but in essence, it's to be as fully here as possible, available, and open to reality. There's more to it, of course, but that's just an opening.
Oh, it's so simple and so rich at the same time.
It is simple and rich, multi-layered rich, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I hear people saying, oh, I cannot stay in the present moment. I cannot be present. All these thoughts, they take me away somewhere. I go somewhere. I get dragged into the stories. And I think that's very difficult for some people to meet that simplicity, despite
Yeah.
these stories.
Yeah. And it requires a stopping,
Right.
really requires a stopping of being anywhere other than right here, and going backwards into yourself, stepping back into yourself and seeing, even feeling what it is that is wanting to not be here, just sensing into that and kind of pulling back the energy, that kind of drive that is kind of a trance drive of being somewhere else, including the feeling of being uncomfortable, because uncomfortableness can arise when you really stop and try to just be with what is right now. And that's the entryway, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is be what is, whatever's showing up, including what you're feeling, what you're sensing, you as you are. It's got to, the portal is just you as you are.
That's so
And
sweet. I can already feel that opening happening right now.
yeah, same here.
Oh, let's
Let's walk,
just
walk
step
through
back a
together.
little bit. Oh, relax into this. Oh,
Just, it's all, it's all that. So if everything is that, if everything is, you know, the one or whatever you want to call it, it includes you as you are. So you don't have to be any different in order to be able to stop and open and be,
mm.
see
And
what's
you
here.
can't be any different either. It's not like you have to use the effort to be as you are.
No, right. You don't have to use the effort. I think that it's more, um, it takes a, it's like, it might not be effort, but it might be more of a willingness, because it takes a willingness to stop wanting to be somewhere else or be in a trance or focused elsewhere. So while it doesn't take effort, it takes something. What is that?
Very interesting. I love the word willingness. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise everybody would be in awareness that they are that, which we all are, but they would be in awareness of it if it didn't take something, if it didn't take some kind of looking, some kind of stopping, right? Some kind of effort of some kind. Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about how you found this openness? It's a little bit of your
Um,
background.
yeah. I felt from a young age, I felt connected to source. I felt connected to myself. And I could feel that ebbing. And I even put words to it to my mother. I said, I feel like I'm losing my childhood. And that was like between 7 and 9. I could feel that I was going, I could, what I noticed that is that the adult world, I could see that they were in, and I didn't have those words yet, right? But I could tell that they were in persona. They were in a sort of a fabricated reality that they were communicating. Like sometimes I could feel my mother being really there and my father being really there and some of the adults being with me, really present. And then off they would go, and I would feel that they were elsewhere in themselves. They weren't home anymore. And so at a young age, I started to feel that kind of what we can call Maya, that hypnosis, the hypnosis of the separate self hypnosis, I guess. I felt it coming over me. And it didn't take it all away because I felt uncomfortable. I just felt uncomfortable and sad about it and curious, like what, you know, and sort of like part of me was sort of fighting being taken over by that separate self sense. And it didn't fully go away. And it would definitely resurrect like this felt sense of wholeness, connected to myself again, would resurrect with my brother when I was with him, or with a really good friend, or with my cat, and so then into my teens, I started to be curious about mostly philosophy, um, kind of like psychic phenomena,
Ooh.
the kind of the woo-woo,
Yeah.
the woo-woo stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then in my very early 20s, 20, 21, 22 is when I went for meditation and yoga, and I really went into it really hardcore. And it was before the, you know, the internet and YouTubes and all that stuff. And I'm not a religious type person. I wasn't raised with religion. I got lucky, in my opinion. That's my personal opinion for myself. My preference and is that I wasn't indoctrinated into some kind of religion that I had, you know, that I would have to extricate myself from. But of course, we're indoctrinated by all kinds of things. I mean, it's part of being human. But so for me, I just wanted the direct experience of from this feeling that I still held inside of what it felt like to be home. And so meditation helped me get back there. I could feel it. And all that yoga and longing. I was a serious seeker before I even knew what the word was,
Uh-huh.
because I was seeking something that was familiar to me. I wasn't seeking something that everybody's seeking, in my opinion. They're seeking something that is known, because what else, how else could you be seeking? We don't seek for something we don't know. But I was very, very familiar with it. And so whenever I would land back there, it was like, ah, here I am, here it is. And slowly it was like that space of not going to sleep inside grew and kept
Mm-hmm.
growing and growing, because it was more interesting to me than being lost. It was more interesting to me than being in duality, believing that I'm not home, whatever
Mm-hmm.
the separate self
Mm-hmm.
is, you know. And so it took time, but eventually the shift took place to where it didn't go away again. It was just like very natural, simple kind of groove of I'm back home, and it never separated again. But I would say that was really, honestly, a one of the awakenings. There are other awakenings that I've had, and I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
right away talk about that because we have, I'm sure, other things to talk about. But to me, the non-dual awakening was one of the first major awakening, the most important. And then after that were other important ones that followed. Yeah, so that's my story in brief.
Wait, yeah, that resonates. Yes, I
Yeah,
agree that this awakening is the turning point, and after that, everything else starts falling into place.
yeah, yeah. How did it happen for you?
Well, I wasn't a seeker, as I never knew about any awakenings, but I knew I
Uh-huh.
was looking for something.
Yeah.
And well, it was magic mushrooms that showed me that the reality is not what I thought it was.
Oh, blessed mushroom.
Yes, the first time I took it, yeah, I was like, wow, the mind went silent. There was not a single thought for hours. I was just being. And that's to me was home. And I wanted that. But that's what
Yeah.
started the process of looking for it.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And I found it maybe 8 years later. I found this question that popped in my head and says, "Is there Ilona running the show?" I was like, nothing. That
So
was the
the
shift. Yeah.
are you running the show? That's what it
Yeah.
was.
It's that Ilona there that is running the show, kind of the separate self. Yeah, the
Wow.
persona. And I
Mm.
was just wiped away. I never came back.
Hmm.
And the next thought after that was like, oh my God, how I never questioned that before. It was just the least obvious thing to ask a question. When we live from that place, I'm running the show. This person is here and is running the show, making things happen. You can't really look at it. Somehow the mind is like, oh, wow, empty,
Yeah.
nothing, never
Yeah.
was.
Hmm.
And that's when I knew that everyone's looking for it. They don't know what they're looking for, but everyone's looking for that. Just
Yeah.
to see that there is nobody running the show, that it's life
Right.
happening, life living itself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And this
Our
is where I
birthright, I call it.
started to assist everyone. Whoever found me, I was like, yes, these are the questions, ask them, see what happens.
It's so cool how many types of varieties of ways that people come home to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it could be even through religion. And, I said that I'm glad that that didn't happen for me, that I was brought up in some kind of story that I had to unpack. But it can happen for people in so many different ways because it doesn't belong to any belief system. It is what I call our birthright. Our birthright is to be undivided inside and to feel and to know ourselves as one with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's an awakening. But I've had and honor other types of awakenings as well. There's the heart that also can wake up and know itself as that in a oneness sense, right? And the mind has that aha and that awakening, and it's abiding, it sounds like, and becomes where it never goes back into questioning itself anymore as being a doer. And then the heart wakes up and it knows itself as one with all things in I would say almost in a sensory kind of way, in an
Mm-hmm.
intimate sensing kind of way, not just a cool awareness kind of way, but a sensing, intimate, we are one with life, and one one as life, one as life. And then for me, there was another one, and that was the body.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The body also, I feel, has it contains the separation that it has been experiencing throughout its life. It gets lodged in the body, and the body itself has a need to be unconfused, I would say, maybe, and see through, patterns and beliefs and maybe pains, interpretations, but from, down
Uh-huh.
in the next one.
Yeah.
And that to me is part of the ongoing process of and nature of awakening, that it's a descent in a way. It's a descent of into more into matter, being mother,
Mm-hmm.
and a descent of into matter itself to really fully wake itself up. So it's not just this mind awakening,
Yes, yeah.
a lot of people will think that's it.
For a moment of being, but as you say, it's continuous.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that that shift of seeing that you are not what you thought you are is like
Yeah.
a turning point. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, the old is falling away, the new is falling into place, and it's continuing
Yeah. Yeah.
till the end. I mean, for this
What's
lifetime,
that?
say till the end of this lifetime,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
continues.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Everything that's unconscious wants to be made conscious,
Right.
and know itself as there,
Mm.
know itself there. And yeah, so that's why it's an ongoing discovery, not just as a being, but that discovering itself, you know.
I love how you said it's descent. You know, we hear a lot of words of ascension, rising
Mhm.
up, up, but this is descent, like something is coming in, embodied, grounded, feet on the
Yeah.
ground,
Mm.
body's here, everything's welcome. All the pains can
Exactly.
be looked at.
Yeah. And it does it with such love and kindness for itself and wanting to liberate and harmonize all this, anything that a lot goes, as you know, a lot doesn't need to be examined. Thank God, we don't need to, it's not a microscope where it wants to examine everything.
Mhm.
But whatever is remaining after as awakening descends, whatever is there that says this needs to be included as that, it wants to be brought into the fold, it wants to know itself as that. Because my feeling is that life, in its intelligence, it comes home, it wants to come back and embrace everything, all of itself, you
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and not leave anything out, not leave anything out. It's all gets to be seen as that, included, open and harmonized too. And if it needs to be examined, then it's examined. But it does itself, it's kind of like it knows exactly what it's doing.
There is a plan.
Yeah, and if we're, some people may need help at that stage, Ilona,
And are you helping people? Do you work with a lot of seekers or finders? Or...
I do. That's mainly what my work,
Mhm. Can
is
you tell a
working with.
little bit about it? Who comes to you and what's
Sure.
happening?
I feel really fortunate. I get a lot of the students and seekers or people, whomever, who are very, very committed and serious. Like this is, you know, they're either already there in terms of seeing that this is the most important thing for them, or they um are what they're getting there and because they know that I'm serious. And that, I'm not going to mess around. And if people want to work with me, it's because this is where they want to put their attention. So either they're still learning how to open to to really see where to put their attention. Because some people don't know that, it's like, well, where am I supposed to place my attention? So I really like to, work with people on that level, all the way to, sort of unpacking after the initial kind of seeing that there is no separate self. Um, and then being able to land there and open and relax to that. And then perhaps there is another period of time that someone may want to come to me and work with me, and that would be in the embodiment stage when that descent is taking place. And the awakening wants to be abiding throughout the system. And it wants to know itself as that, even when there's some pain there, even when there's some confusion, even when there's some victim stance, whatever it is, is it still, is it is it able to be that as well, and keep opening to it? So some people get a little bit concerned at that stage. Are they going to lose awakening? Because it's touching the body. It's touching that which it's people have been mostly running away from and avoiding all their life, the uncomfortableness that we contain inside. And so to me, that's kind of like awakening is evolving to include every single thing about ourselves, you know. And for some people, it's that can be a challenging time, and you know, sometimes people need to go and get some healing work, you know,
I totally
trauma
agree. Yeah.
therapy, yeah, some other kinds of support, some body work, some cranial sacral work. I mean, I'm really happy to pass on information to people so that they can really get the help they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's more than just mind or emotions. There is also body and whatever processes are going on there. You know, sometimes people say, if I have a headache, I will sit and meditate and make it go away, or it will somehow resolve. But if the headache is because of misaligned spine, you can't really do much about it. You have to go and find somebody who can realign it. Otherwise, it will continue that kind
Yeah.
of way.
Yeah.
The physical is also included, can't be denied or just dismissed and said, oh, there is no body. I hear that sometimes. Oh, there is no body. Like, okay, yes,
Yeah.
ultimately, yes. But how about eating, washing? How about the toothache or headache? Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
there's a
yeah.
whole nother level of awakening that's awaiting them,
Mm.
a deepening of the awakening. And how about now? Is the awakening still here when you are in the nitty-gritty of life, you know? And how about now when you have an illness and someone in your family is suffering? How about now when you're aging? And, you know, how about now with the state of the world? So to me, it's like concentric circles of awakening,
Mm-hmm.
growing,
Mm-hmm.
capacity to to be embodied and still be abiding, still be unmoving. You know, there's something that's still exactly the same. There's still something exactly the same now, but it's got texture, you know, because it's reaching depths and stratas of existence and making it more conscious, you know, making it more conscious as it descends.
Mm. And just an image of a tree came into mind right now, like
Yeah.
roots growing deeper into the earth, becoming stronger, so the whole tree can open up more and reach for the sun. So it's kind of earthing and sunning.
Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could say that the initial kiss of awakening is maybe the treetops,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you know, and then it descends and it goes deeper and it goes into the trunk and it goes into all the limbs in the trunk and goes down, down, down into the sap and then into the roots, as you said, and into the, you know, connecting with earth and mycelium and
Mhm.
you know, and it's like it knows itself as all of it increasingly, you know. So, you know, someone who is innocent in their understanding of saying that, you know, they're not their body and that, you know, that kind of level of awakening, one would hope that over time that it could sink down more fully because to me there's something that's protecting that understanding of that initial kind of understanding of non-dual understanding of mind,
Mhm.
something that's protecting it from going more deep. Because, and that probably is because people are protecting their hearts, they're protecting themselves from feeling and from feeling, you know, any pain and wounds that maybe some of that spiritual, you know, what led them to go towards spirituality or awakening was in order to bypass this pain. But then it, you know, it needs to be then open to if they want awakening to really end up being abiding. And what I mean by that is that it doesn't go away as soon as something takes place. So as soon as they start feeling deeply. And so
Mhm.
that if as if they're trying to stay and keep that awakening at a certain level, it's you know, what is it going to do? It's not going to remain.
Yeah, I loved how you talked about this protection here, protecting the heart. Maybe you can look a little bit more into this.
Mm.
Sometimes people say that they don't feel the heart at all. It's like a knee or something, or elbows, no feeling. And
Yeah.
sure, there is a protection there, and that's exactly what is being felt. Nothingness.
Mm.
How to start feeling the
Exactly.
heart? How would you guide somebody that would say, "Oh, I don't feel anything. Oh, it's just empty."
Yeah. Well, you already kind of gave a clue when you said sometimes that's just what's being felt. Is not feeling anything. So for me, the doorway to really being here is starting exactly where you are at, but just being honest and telling yourself the truth about it. So placing attention on the heart. And even if there's sort of a feeling of there's not much happening here, I can't really feel anything. Well, maybe stop and rest with that, be quiet with that. And pretty soon there will be something happening. It might be a little movement of even a little pain, because if you can't feel anything, it's because there's something that's a bit frozen, blocked, shut down, you know, um, and just maybe just unfamiliar with with going there. But in the way that I see it, Ilona, is that there is, just like with mind, there is the conditional mind and there's an unconditional mind.
Mhm.
There's the conditional heart and there's the unconditional heart.
Oh, tell me more about it.
Yeah, yeah. So so the conditional heart is the one that can feel blocked and can hurt and want to protect itself and get, the conditional heart is the one that in a way falls in love and falls out of love,
Mhm.
that has been hurt, heartache, that may put up some boundaries and some blocks, and say, I'm not going to go there, you know. So in the beginning, when you start to open to the heart, you're touching on the conditional heart. Um, I have a breathing exercise that I suggest that people do if they're interested in being able to open the heart. And I have it on my YouTube station, and it's called a heart meditation or something like that, where you breathe in and out of the heart area and you pretend that you have like a nose right here,
Hmm.
your nostrils, and you're breathing in and out. And I don't necessarily want to walk us through right now, but that's one practice that one can do that people can look up.
Mhm.
And the thing is that once you start doing something like that, you're going to start feeling. So, people need to be prepared to 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 actually have movement happen. And sometimes it can be uncomfortable, you know. It can, whatever is making it to where one can't even feel anything here. That is the first layer that's wanting to be felt.
Right.
Right. And so then you tell yourself the truth and you let yourself feel it. And guess what? They do come off, those layers, they do come off just by placing attention on it. It's like the heart says, oh, thank you. Finally, you're feeling me, feeling something that has been wanting to be met, right? And felt. And it's kind of like a flower opening.
It's only
And
opening while you're looking at it. Like if you're not
mm,
looking at it, it's just waiting. Oh,
it's just
I'm
waiting.
seeing, I can start opening. It's a little bit like my cats. They like to eat when I'm looking at them or when I'm giving them
Oh,
a little soft touch. Then they eat. I think it's something strange. Why don't they eat when nobody's looking? But they like to be seen when they're eating. It's so cute.
that's very sweet. Yeah, my dog is that way too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won't eat unless I'm there and present.
Isn't that
And
strange?
my daughter has two dogs and they will eat no matter what. Not, they're like real dogs. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just like that exactly. It wants to have the gaze of attention on it in order to be able to open and unfold.
Hmm.
Yeah. And so that's the conditional heart. But in the meantime, what's going to be accessed over time is the unconditional radiant heart that's like the sun that's always shining in the background. So it's always shining. And that heart, it doesn't fall in love and fall out of love. It doesn't get hurt. It's not conditional. So it's just always shining unconditionally. It loves all of you as you are, exactly as you are, the imperfections, everything. It loves you as you are. And it loves life as it is. That doesn't mean that it can't be discerning
Mhm.
or even be intelligent and with its grace in terms of no, yes, it can still be very discerning because it knows what's good for this
Mhm.
organism, you know? But to get there, there has to be sort of enough opening of the conditional heart just to be able to sense it. It doesn't have to be perfect. The conditional heart can still be tending to itself. It's never going to be perfect, the conditional heart. There will always be some aspect to it that is going to remember that pain, that first love pain or whatever it is. It's just like the unconditional mind, it's open and welcoming of the conditional mind. It embraces it. It's in Zen they call it big mind.
Uh-huh. So we
So
have
big mind,
a big mind, like a sky openness, and a
yeah.
small mind, this little me. And then we have the big sun shining here in the sky, and the little heart that is like this. Oh.
And it's like, ouchie, ouchie, and that unconditional heart is like all is welcomed here. All is
Hmm.
always welcome, you as you are. It's very healing.
Mm. I'm wondering now because when I had for many years my heart was closed. It was kind of just
Mm.
like this. And then at one time it blew open like a nuclear thing going. And there was
Oh,
so much love going through. It was insane. I remember
oh,
even asking Pamela Wilson what to do. I can't handle this much love.
oh.
uh, yeah, and that lasted for a long time, years. And now it's it's comfortable. It's just warm. It's no nuclear fusions going on. It's just there. So I'm wondering, in your terms, what happened with this small heart, big heart, just from this description.
Oh, um, there's no small heart any or big heart, it's just
Hmm.
one thing now. Yeah, no, it's been for a good while. Uh, I went through a long unity phase of the unity integration phase of, and that was like for me, unity is a heart thing. It sees through the eyes of oneness. And so that phase, it was embracing and learning how to include everything that it encountered
Hmm.
itself as that. And it was very much an intimate thing. It wasn't the open sky awareness kind of inclusion. It was this felt sense of this too is that. And it did that with all kinds of things that encountered, like when something was amiss in life or one of my children were suffering or whatever, you know, this too is that. And it was this intimacy with life. And to me, that was a heart thing, that it would be so permeable, so allowing in a felt kind of way. I'm very much a body type.
Uh-huh.
And so, yeah, for me, I was kind of I loved to dance, did a lot of yoga. And, it's just like, for me, awakening, the most interesting part of it, awareness was one thing. Awareness is cool. That was one thing. Mind woke up to itself, that for sure. But the the body and the heart were, to me, that to know oneness as a felt sense, to me, is part of what makes living so beautiful. When they say Satchidananda, and it's Sat is truth, Chit is consciousness, and Ananda is being, is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can feel bliss, because bliss is a felt sense, a felt thing. The only way you can feel bliss is through the bliss of being, is when truth has woken up to itself, consciousness has woken up to itself. And then it can be felt in the body. The body gets to hum and vibrate in as that completely. And so, and that's, to me, what the tree's doing and what the plants are doing, and all nature is humming as itself, as existence. It's vibrating as existence, And so that's what the unconditional heart can lead to in the end, is that that descent continues.
Mm.
Mm.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I sometimes send people to the nature and say, just
Mhm.
look, everything's moving, everything's one thing, it's
Mm.
just flowing. And this is part of that movement also. There is no line between here and there, or nature and not nature. The nature is one.
Yes.
Because I think
Yeah.
that separate self kind of comes with the idea, package, and I'm separate from life, I'm separate from nature.
Yes.
It's out
Exactly.
there. Life is out there. I'm here and life is out there. That kind of imagined line by conceptual thinking. So nature
Yeah.
can help to see through that line because while in nature, everything's so obviously one.
It's a wonderful teacher, isn't it?
Mhm.
It's not confused about itself. People are confused. Most people, a lot of people are confused about what they are in essence. But nature is not confused. And so it's a wonderful teacher. I used to, and this is something that I think is a wonderful practice. Um, I used to do this for myself, and something that I like to share with people is that there's a really easy way to see how much separation there's still living here.
Mhm.
And you go out into nature, and not just a park with a bunch of people, but something a little more a little quieter, where you're alone. And just sit down on a rock, or sit down on the earth or something, and look at a tree and look around you and see if anything, what if anything is lying in between yourself and what you're looking at. Are you turning it into an object? Is the tree an object in your consciousness? And so there's the first thing to see. Are you making up some kind of story inside about how, oh, myself and nature are one?
Mhm.
There's still separation being played out there. Um, so it's a great truth teller. because if you feel separate from the natural world around you, that is where the work lies. It won't lie. It won't betray you. It's easy to forget in a way sometimes when we're lost in this kind of human created world, But when you go out to nature, it doesn't lie. It's so intrinsically whole in itself. And it's like most people, and I did too, just projected onto nature my idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then projected myself onto nature and thinking, oh, I'm feeling the tree. I'm feeling the energy of the tree. That's beautiful. That's a wonderful thing to feel the vibration and all that. But it's still a separation. There's still me feeling so-called my idea of the essence of the tree. We don't even know if that's really what the tree is like, But as that collapses, as that kind of subject object collapses, and also in terms of the intimacy of the oneness as it descends into the heart, as that closes, there really is no separation between yourself and the tree. And it's not even so magical anymore. Like even the magic of it all can be a subtle layer. The fact is that you're one in this environment as that. You're so one in the end that there is no idea of it being special. So that's how much nature can be a teacher and close the gap between yourself and what it is that you're in. It's a wonderful teacher. Mm. Yeah. It gets really subtle.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful practice.
Yeah. Yeah. The rain is really coming down.
Yeah. I have
Yeah,
a
yeah.
beautiful sunshine here today.
Yeah,
Early
good.
morning. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, I'm here tonight. Yeah, so I mean, maybe we can come back around just really quick about what is useful to seekers. You said something in the beginning,
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
thinking that question and you just heard it.
just now.
Just now.
What were you thinking? What was the question
It's the
again?
time to ask, what is your advice for the seeker that is looking for awakening?
Um, First of all, I think it's really important to get clear inside what it is that you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
And because to really refine the question, what is it that I'm really wanting when I think about spirituality or awakening? And maybe even write it down, because there could be a lot of beliefs there that might not even be what awakening's about. So, for instance, and to get really honest and not be saying write something down that you've heard, what you should want,
Mm-hmm.
and be honest, like, oh, maybe I'm wanting to escape my pain. Maybe I'm wanting to know myself fully, to be home. Let's, just write it down, really get clear about what you're wanting. So that's the first thing. And then and refine it, like cross off that list, what you can see through as not being authentic, not being really what your heart is desiring. What is your heart really desire, Because we tend to kind of, in this way, we tend to get what we want, and this, not with everything, but in this, with truth,
Mm-hmm.
we tend to get what we want. But it it's waiting for the real sincerity and sort of this kind of stripped down authentic knowing of what we want. And then we might not know how to do it. That's completely appropriate to not know. That's actually the best doorway. So you refine what it is you want, and then come to an honest understanding. And I don't know how to do this. How do I go home? How do I, and then even define, open up as you did for me in the beginning, what is awakening to you? Define that what one is wanting. Like if it's awakening, define that. What is awakening? What do I want in within that world that I've heard about? What is it that's calling me? You know, and kind of get close to it, like get really close to it. And see how sincere you are about it. Like, yeah, I want to come home to myself, but really the truth is I want a really good relationship. So like get really honest with yourself. Not that you can't have both in the end, but get honest with yourself. Where do you want, are you able and willing to put your attention on it? And to what degree? Because I don't know about, but for you, it sounds like it happened in the way that it happened for me. And for most of the people that I work with, the way that people come home to themselves is by really placing their attention on what's undivided inside, getting good pointing as to what that looks like, what that feels like, and then drawing it out, what they call have the background move to the foreground. What's always in the background, have it move to the foreground. How does it move to the foreground? By placing our attention on it. So it's like coaxing it, because if our conditioned mind is in this one lane and it's doing life in this one way, and it's say covering over what's in the background, which is a presence, always there, but it's, or awareness, whatever you want to call it, it's being covered over. So how does one bring it forward is by placing your attention on it. And it's like learning a language. It sort of invites it forward. And it's by valuing it. You have to value presence. You have to value it and get a taste of it, know what it feels like, and then value it and expand on it. And dip into it, whether it's for meditation or during the day. For me, I just was always dipping into it, always. And then simultaneous to doing life, you can dip into it. You can be co-feeling, the arising of what's always here, along with this doing life, speaking, being, acting. So then it grows and it becomes abiding, what I call abiding. But it's getting clear about what you want, breaking it down, seeing what your level of sincerity is, and then having good pointing as to where to put your attention, and then continue to invite it forward with your attention, with your love. I'd say it's a love affair. You place your love. So what is it you really love? Oh, I love this feeling of being whole and at home. Well, then it comes forward, it becomes your dance partner, and then it takes over more and more, right?
Sweet.
Yeah. So it's totally doable. It just takes in my mind, for me, it takes the commitment. Even if one has the grace of it just kind of spontaneously showing up. In my experience is that for most people, 99 point whatever %, they're going to need to put their attention on it so that it doesn't just go back into hiding.
Right. Yeah, that the doubting, oh, I got it, I lost it phase.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's, yeah. It's, Ilona, it's like, as much as people say that more and more people are waking up and it's become more and more, familiar to conscious to the collective, more and more people are waking up. honestly, I don't necessarily see that. It's because it's not that I don't think it's happening on some scale, because people are always, more and more people are coming on the planet. So, but I see that there are a percentage of people who are sincere and want to wake up and are going to put their attention on it. And simultaneously, I see Maya, I see the lostness be very, very strong. The power of the conditioning of mind to be elsewhere, to not be here in the moment, to be elsewhere through video and through social media, through relationships that are in a co-agreed to just not really be here together. I I see that as a really strong, strong pull for consciousness, for humanity. And so for the people who are sincere, who are wanting awakening, and I know that it's happening, but it's like it takes almost like pulling away from that collective consciousness of being asleep. And it takes sincerity. I mean, I work with really sincere people, beautiful, beautiful, beautifully sincere people. And almost all of them in some way, unless they're already awakening and have had awakening and are working with me on embodiment, but if they're still grounding in the awakening, it's like that conditioning of not being here is so strong, that pull, that it's like they need to be reminded, and then they need to be reminded, and they need to remind themselves. So it's I don't know, that's what, for me, I feel that it's still not that common for awakening to come through and descend. I'm not making it special, but for awakening to come and descend and to really know all its parts as that. I think maybe mind awakening is more common.
All right. Yeah, maybe.
But then there's the heart, and
Yeah.
then there's gut. There's this, the gut, the existential awakening of the existential threat of the body, that it has its own understanding that it gains, So I think it's still an evolution, this journey. I don't know how you see it.
I see that there are more people curious.
Yeah.
Some people are awakening.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And does your definition, is it similar in the sense of, in your own way, but similar that it's not just a mind awakening, that
Yeah, well, the mind awakening, or this recognition that there is no separate self, is the turning point. After that, there are many, many, many more experiences, many, many unfoldings and openings, and it's just the beginning. It's like the gate, you were here, here's the line, you cross the line, now you're in the field. And I feel this openness, and there is so much to explore and so much more to see. You forget about the gate. It's important, absolutely necessary, but it's done. Now what? Here. We are here.
Yeah, here. And then you play, and then you live.
Yeah. And whatever needs to be seen comes up. Like no more chasing for it. It's showing up when it's time. That's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. And it's such a prayer, I can tell, for you and for me too. It's such a prayer, or desire for awakening, to be, for what I call people's birthright, to come home,
Oh, I agree. Thank you,
Yeah.
Susanne.
Thank you too.
Could you share your website where people can find you?
Sure. It's Susanne Marie, Susanne Marie.org.
Okay.
So www, yeah.
Yeah,
And
I'll put that
people
in
are
the
welcome.
description. And yeah,
Thank
please.
you
Sure.
for this lovely connection and conversation and
Oh, it's
may it
wonderful
be
to share the space with you.
yes. Yeah,
Something inside
like
is very happy.
same here. Yeah.
Wonderful. And thank you everyone for watching, for listening. If you have comments, something to share, just put it down.
Yes.
Yes. And come see Susanne. And if you feel
And
like,
warm blessings to everybody so that they may all go home. Yeah, may
mm,
you all go
yeah, home is waiting. If you're not, if you are not
waiting.
feeling at home yet, it's waiting.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Until the
Thank
next
you.
time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.